voice in your ears and the face on your screen. I'm Perfect Purpose, and this is Pro Football Sweden, presented by Rare Athletics. This is our first season talking football in Sweden, so feel free to comment, send messages, let us know how we're doing, guys. We appreciate the support we have so far. We're going to keep it rocking for a couple more weeks. Today, I'm joined by my co-hosts, Jalo Juice and Antoine Allen. What's going on, fellas?
For Lord, guys, for Lord. I just wanted to make sure I had no background noise. But what is up, guys? It feels like it's been a while, but it probably hasn't.
Yeah, it's only been like another week. We've been doing this every week. But thanks to our partners at American Football in Finland, Improved Athletes, and Pro Football Sweden, the PFS podcast is available everywhere you listen to your podcast. And you can visually see us here on YouTube. Wherever you listen or watch, be sure to like, follow, and subscribe. All right, it's the first quarter here on the PFS pod. Let's talk energy from last week games. What was positive? What was negative? We'll each, go with our vibe. But Juice, I'll let you start us off. What was positive for you, man?
It was positive that we saw some good football this past weekend.
Mm.
There was a blowout in one game, but there were some positive things from that game. One thing that I really, really liked was positive that I seen some new playmakers. People were down for some teams. Players were down for some teams, and other guys came and stepped up. Seeing number 17, can't remember his name, from Örebro. Maybe they changed the numbers. Maybe that's might be the thing. But man, he had a second beautiful catch. I put hard eyes next to that second touchdown that he had. But I'm glad to see new players making plays.
I'm gonna throw his name out there. I'm trying to read it. Theodore Vanberg. That's his name.
Van.
Young guy had 6 receptions, 96 yards for 2 touchdowns. I got the game stats up on my screen so I can look for people's names.
Yeah, appreciate that. If he do it again, I'm gonna remember his name. Just you got your flowers today.
What about you, Antoine? Any positives from this weekend?
I'm gonna double down on what Jallo said. We definitely saw some great football this weekend. Like he said, in the Örebro versus the Predators game, those rookies were able to show up and show out. And then, we saw Carlstad beat Stockholm in their undefeated streak of 2 years. So yeah, man, we just saw a lot of great football this past weekend.
Well, I'm gonna say what y'all said then. Some good football, finally, in my opinion. I feel like I've been waiting for good football all season because every week one thing that really stood out to me was the penalties. I've been saying this for the last couple of weeks, is there's always a lot of penalties, and it makes watching the game cringe-worthy for me because the game is constantly stopping. It's already a game that stops a lot. But this week, I felt like the teams were a little more settled down. Everybody played a little more disciplined. Everybody played better. And it was really good to see games played at a really good clip. Even the Tyresö AIK game, I know Tyresö really put it on them, but it never really felt like, oh, they're just, dominating this team. AIK had a good game, and actually there was opportunities for them to make it a much closer game had they did a couple of things different. But overall, it was a good game to watch because you kind of felt like, okay, they might pull something off. This might happen, something like that. Like you said, OBK beat K-Town. I wasn't expecting much in the first place, so it is what it is. And then that Stockholm and Carlstad game was much closer than I thought it was going to be because I just saw the score, and then I watched the game a couple days later, expecting that, Carlstad jumped up or something. But it was a really tight game all the way through. Carlstad just had a little bit more in the tank when it came to the end of the game. So it was really good to watch good football. And I say that as a slight diss track to football in Finland this weekend, where my teams that I picked and the teams I was rooting for just didn't really show up. And that's not for this show, but if you know, you know. What about some negatives on the energy side, guys? Juice, you got anything that was rubbing you the wrong way this week?
I mean, I wasn't going to comment on the referees, but then, well, you know what? I give one positive for the refs. There was one play, number 44 from Tyresö. He hit a guy lay out of bounds. Bro, you got to be a better athlete. The guy's going out of bounds. Stop. And they flagged him. And another time where he almost could have did the same thing, he didn't do it. But then they just get so whistle happy. It was a punt return, I believe, in the Tyresö game. and the ball was just bouncing and rolling. And when it comes to punts, the player needs to touch the ball, then you blow the whistle. Nobody touched the ball and they blew the whistle. Then the guy picked up the ball and run, and it's kind of like awkward. It's like, what are you going to do? Like, should I run fast? Should I not run fast? You know what I mean? But it's just that. But some negatives. Nah, to be honest, it's not even a negative. I was thinking like special teams was like the theme, especially when you watch the Örebro game. Some team need to step up their special teams. But then there was some good things about the same team that need to step up their special teams. They had 2 trick plays, which I like. So I'm gonna blend in a little. What would you call like a plus minus medium? Somewhere in between. That's what I'm just giving out. To be honest, wasn't too many negatives on my side besides the thing that I just said with the referees.
What about you, Antoine? I know you got a negative. You're talking about it off air, so go ahead. Say what you got to say about who you got to say about.
Oh, what you mean about the pass dropping?
I mean, if that's what you want to talk about, we got to put it out there.
Look, man, we saw a lot of drop passes this weekend. I saw one. Listen, I hold this receiving core to a high standard. So when I see Kevin Borsay drop a deep ball, I got to talk about it. Look, I think that they're the best receiving core, so I expect more from them. So I expect them to make all the catches. So when I saw that drop, I was kind of disappointed a little bit. But yeah, I saw a lot of drop passes, but that wasn't really my negative. My negative that I was going to say was the Predators. I don't know what they need to do offensively and defensively.
Hold on. I know what they need to do. Go back to Division 1. Yeah, I said it.
And I'm going to cut in there after you say your thing about the Predators. I got one more thing to say about the Predators.
This is a team that's looked very different throughout the year. It's looked okay. Some games it's looked decent in another game. But this past game, it's just like the bottom fell out and they just looked bad. It just looked bad on both sides of the football. And I was just like, geez. Whenever you go out there and you only get 76 yards of total offense, 33 passing yards, and 43 rushing, a lot went wrong. And you had the ball, and they had possession of the ball for 10 minutes longer than Örebro did. So it's not like you didn't have, you know what I mean? It was just a mess on their end. And they made Örebro look like one of the top Russian teams.
Hold on. When you said about the rushing yards, I was shook. You said they got 43 rushing yards, and 30 of them came from one play from the receiver at that.
Yes. Yeah, the fake punt. So it's just like, you got nothing going nowhere. Like, Jesus Christ, man. And then, yeah, I said,
take it back to D1. That's all I'm saying. Take it back to D1 if you ain't here to play.
Whenever I get it, I get that Örebro had a great day rushing the ball, but whenever you make a team they only had 27 yards rushing on the whole year before this game, and in this game they come out with 195 rushing yards. Like, come on, man, come on.
Yeah, that was interesting. But like a negative that I wanted to say as well was I got to call him out, and he's still one of my favorite receivers. Is Jacob Stenberg.
Yeah,
bro, when your quarterback needed you, and he was dropping some key passes. And I was like, bro, like, was he late to the bus? Did he party before the game or something? Because it looked like he lost a step in his play this past weekend. I was like, bro, you're still one of my favorite guys, but I'm gonna call you out, man. Jacob, you got to step it up. That was a negative that I let slip by past me. But I do want to say welcome back. I don't know if he's going to continue playing. Philip Jonsson, welcome back to the field. Yeah. Welcome into Bucks. Vi älskar dig på the field, and his little brother, But we'll get into that later.
I don't really have any negative. I guess I could jump on the Predators train and say they was, boo-boo. But I wasn't expecting them to do much, and they didn't do much. So, I mean, it wasn't as tough to watch as some of the other games because it kind of just rolled along. Like they go a couple plays, they get the ball to the other team score, they go a couple plays. I'm gonna go back to the positive side. Let's sandwich this energy thing. Don't end on a negative, end on a positive.
Let's go.
Shout out to Örebro running back Jonathan Eklund. I think this was his first game with over 100, right? Yeah. I mean, obviously.
Yeah, he's been struggling.
Obviously, first game over 100. But I think, and that's something we've talked about earlier in the year. There's been, talk that he maybe not be a good running back, but he also hasn't had a chance to show what he can do. And in this game, I mean, obviously, it's just the Predators, so don't take too much into it, Eklund. But I was able to see him run. I mean, kid got speed. I saw that earlier in the season. He has speed, but if he can't get open, there's no point in using it. He was able to utilize it a lot of times, especially at that long run. I don't know if he scored on it or if it was just a long run. He got
a touchdown.
tackled up.
Touchdown.
He had a touchdown. Okay.
Yeah,
On that
touchdown.
run, if you go back and watch him run that ball, he never actually like got touched. He was a lot of his, and that's something. I'm a running back, so obviously I'm looking at how running backs run. And what's really unique about him is when it comes like breaking tackles, he's not gonna be that guy. If you get a hold of that little bitty guy, he's gonna go down. Like it is what it is. But what he did to the Predators defense was he was putting people, on skates, 3 or 4 people, and then he left them.
Juice moments.
Yeah, he put them on skates, and then he left them. So they were sitting there on skates, and then they were like, "Where'd he go? He's a ghost." I was really glad to see him have that moment this week, even though it was the Predators. I'm still gonna keep putting that disclaimer in there, but to see that skill set, that's possible from him now.
Yeah.
Now, for him to become a better running back, he does have to learn how to actually break tackles. But this offense knows that if they give this guy an opportunity, they have something that they can work with there, even if it is in like the passing game or something. I would like to see a little bit more of him in like slot receiver so we can get him in open space so he can get the ball and have an impact for this team because they need something more than Trevor and these receivers who you can kind of scheme these receivers. No offense to them, but
sure.
you can scheme those. You can't really scheme a receiver out the backfield. Look at what Stockholm does with Casper Wedberg in the pass game. Like that's something that Örebro could do. And again, just trying to finish it on a positive. I was really glad to see him have his moment. So shout out to you, Jonathan Eklund, man. You did your thing this week. Proud of you out here as a former running back. I'm proud of you, man. It's good to see that.
Now I was going to say they can include maybe some running back screens to my man. You know what I mean? From the backfield. Man, I think that'll work. But they need games like this because when they do have games like this, it's motivating for them, for their young guys to step up. And the last thing I was going to say is that their backup running back, it can't be the import guy who they got. It got to be Clausen. He's way better as a backup running back. He's their number 2.
Okay, so you're saying let the guy from the UK go.
No, don't kick him off the field, but he just can't be running the ball. He doesn't look natural as a runner. He don't look natural with the ball in his hands.
He needs more work. He needs to go back in the lab. That's all. Just go back to the lab, go put in some work. You'll be okay. All right, I think that's it for energy, guys. Let's get into top performers. All right, we're in second quarter. Top performers brought to you by Rare Athletics Apparel and Accessories, made for players by players. More than just accessories, Rare provides custom jerseys for teams all over Europe. So head on over to the web shop at rare.se and upgrade your drip today. Let's name a couple of guys who stood out from last week's game. Antoine, start us off, man. Who caught your eye this weekend?
I'm only going to mention one receiver because I be receiver heavy when we get to this part. I'm only going to mention one receiver. Josh Hicks is a man among boys. 3 receptions, 177 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And he had that one touchdown where he caught the ball. The DB is on him, and my man is just like, get your mother hands off me. He beat his hands down, and then he still scored. I was like, yo, that's crazy. That's different. So he's the one, and then I have Matthias Eriksson, and then Edvin Jansson from OBK. They both did their thing on the defensive side of the ball. Edvin had 2 fumble recoveries. 1 sack. I think he only had like 5 or 6 touchdowns, but 5 or 6 tackles. He still was a difference maker on that side of the ball. And then Matthias, I think he had like 12. Hold on, let me pull up real quick.
He had like 12 tackles. He led the game.
12 tackles. He had that 1 interception. And like I was saying off camera, it's so funny when like people who aren't used to like running with the football when he got that. My man was gone. He didn't know where he was going. He's like, I'm just gonna run straight down the field. And he could have scored. I was like, oh come on, he gonna score. Oh, he gonna score this one. He did.
That should have been a touchdown. That should have been a touchdown.
It was still good to see. Good to see them out there. So yeah, that's my 3.
I want to take a little more time to gush on Josh Hicks if we can, because I mean, like you said, a man amongst boys out here. I am falling in love with this man's game. Like, no Diddy, but gosh, the dude, when he catches the ball, like, you always know something exciting is going to happen, and he's dominant. And it's like very sure-handed when he catches it. Like you said, on that long touchdown, it shouldn't have been a touchdown. You catch it, defender is right there. He should be able to wrap up. No, as soon as he caught it, he started stiff arming the crap out of old buddy. Similar to what we saw last week when he stiff armed the kid for no reason. What we're learning about Josh Hicks is you got to come with a little bit more. You might want to hit the gym before you try to tackle Josh Hicks, because he's not only going to catch the ball and run, he's also physical. He really reminds me of what you expect from, like an import player at receiver, is that he's not just a finesse guy. He's a physical guy. You could put him at running back, and he could probably do the same things he's doing at receiver because he's that type of player. I mean, he actually started the season off playing safety for them, and he had like 2 interceptions like the first game. So that's the type of athlete you get from Josh Hicks. So it's really good that he was able to, have another great performance, especially I think they were missing Edu, right? They were missing somebody at receiver.
Yeah, they was missing him.
Yeah, because they had a lot of backup guys getting reps as well, but Josh was able to stand out and be the leader for the receiving core. So I just wanted to gush on him for a little bit. Juice, who stood out to you from this last weekend of games?
Since me on Josh Hicks, man, he's a man amongst boys right now. And the crazy thing is, man, I did a little research on him, bro. He's from New Brunswick. I've been there plenty of times. That's where my son was born.
Where's New Brunswick at?
New Brunswick, Canada. New Brunswick, Canada.
Canada. Okay, I was I thought you were from Canada. Okay.
Yeah, I probably seen him before. Maybe not.
Oh yeah.
I threw some juice on him at some moment, and he brought it out. Nah, none of that stuff. Nah, but shout out to him. He's a baller, and he's going to continue to baller. Roy Kelly, man, pick 6. Iced. Just pretty much iced the game for them. That was a big time. Then Matthias Eriksson, every week he's doing an amazing job. 12 tackles in one game. That's MVP status right there.
Yeah.
Trevor Vasey did a good job. I think the quarterbacks played well this week. Stockholm, they got to step up their quarterback game. Unfortunately, the Predators couldn't do that. But I'm gonna just give a shout out to 17 from Örebro. I'm not gonna go into the receiver game heavy, just like how Antoine said the same thing, because I love the receivers, I love the DBs. But I do want to shout out to Carlstad O-line. They've been doing a good job. I finally seen what's my boy Young Kennedy actually getting through. Then they called back some of his plays as well, and I was like,
they did call back that one long run that he had.
And last thing I'm gonna say on defense, Tyresö D-line, pretty decent. They allow teams to run against them, but when it comes to making sacks, they did that. And my boy Sebastian, best cornerback in Sweden right now, Sebastian. I was mad that the guy had that lucky catch against him, but it didn't faze him. The ball get tipped up, it happens, man. Things happen. But Sebastian Jansson, best cornerback in Sweden right now. Maybe the best Scandinavian who's playing right now, because I don't even want to bring Finland up right now, but cornerbacks need some help out here. So Scandinavia, he's the Nordic. He's the best cornerback in Nordics right now.
In Nordics? Hold on. I when we were talking about Sweden, I was gonna let it ride.
Name a better cornerback right now that's playing. Well, I mean, obviously they probably in the ELF. They're in the ELF. But I'm talking about in the Nordic leagues right now.
See, if I name somebody, then I'm putting them like on that pedestal from day one, and then I'm setting them up for failure if they don't do anything great afterwards. That's why I'm not gonna do that. You're not gonna gaslight me. You're not, especially because the guy I'm thinking of just got head topped actually. So that would be a horrible name to throw out there.
Laney? No, I respect Laney. I respect
Yeah, he's a really good corner. One of the best like in Finland, but he's not gonna be able to guard Alpha Jallo. And it is what it is. But same thing with the corner we're talking about from Tyresö. You're good, you're great, that's awesome. But look at no disrespect to nobody, but the receivers in this league are mostly European.
All right, let's see this.
There's only Matthew Resloff and
they're going to play
Hicks.
Stockholm soon. They're going to play Stockholm soon. So
Yeah,
we'll
but
see how you do it then. Then we can give him the title.
even if he's the best in Sweden, you got to look at the competition. No offense. Again, this isn't any judgment towards how Sweden does. I think Sweden has really good receivers, but there's a difference between these receivers and someone like Alpha Jallo, which is what you see in Finland a lot of time is your level at receiver at the number one. Even for Stockholm, even though you have Matthew Reslov, who, again, still one of the best receivers in the league, he plays a positional role for Stockholm. They have him in a certain place for certain routes. He's not going to go outside, run one-on-one routes and beat anybody because that's not what they want from him. Not that he can't, but that's not what they're going to do. So that means he's not going to get that opportunity to really see if he can really lock down somebody like Matthew Reslov. That's not something he's going to have to do in this league. But again, best in the league, I'm with you 100%.
All right, best in the league. We can continue this debate another time, but flowers to you, bro.
Yeah,
Sebastian, I like you a lot. I like you a
Yeah,
lot.
I love him. I think he's great DB. Again, keep it to the league, man. Keep it to the league.
I'm gonna have a conversation with him one day because I got some notes for him.
Okay, that's what's up,
Get some notes for
Sebastian.
him.
Get with Juice. For me, a lot of the guys I wanted to talk about, we already talked about Josh Hicks. Already talked about Jonathan Eklund. You talked a little bit about Rory Kelly. I really liked how he played. I think a little understatement is that he had the interception. That's all he did. He was around. I'm just now looking at the stats because again, I don't really care about the stats. I leave that for the internet nerds. But he was around a lot of plays, and I seen him like being active. But I didn't know how that translated to like tackles and stuff. And I think if I'm looking at his stats right about now, he had 5 total tackles. I mean, he has 6 assisted tackles, which makes more sense because, like I said, he was around the ball a lot. Go ahead, Juice.
Yeah, I forgot to mention another thing that was good was Carlstad linebackers. They were bringing the boom. I think 40 last name was Gooding. I mean, they just so physical, bro. So physical.
Those two, they're 1 and 2. They're 1 and 2 in the league as far as tackles. Gooding is number 1 with 39.5 tackles, and then Erickson is number 2 with 39. So they have just about the same amount of tackles, but these boys be going crazy.
When you watch them in the game, you always see like either 42 is coming and then 40 is right behind them, or 42 is coming in, or 40 is coming and 42 is behind, or 42 is coming and 40 is behind. Like I get the numbers confused sometimes because they're like usually right behind each other to the ball, like very fast and dynamic playmakers because they get to the ball, which is a credit to their D-line more than anything because linebackers get with free flow to the ball means your D-line is taking up blocks and allowing them to get to the ball. So shout out to Carlstad's D-line for doing their job, allowing these linebackers to be playmakers and make those tackles. A lot of times your linebackers who aren't able to make that tackle is because they're taking on blockers. And Carlstad's doing a great job of having their D-line protect them from that. Actually, my guy, Robin Miranda, receiver from Stockholm Mean Machines, he was out there. I was watching the whole game, and I was really excited that Stockholm was in it because I knew that they were going to lose. So I was like, okay, they're going to lose. It's going to be da-da-da. I'm watching the game. The first quarterback obviously wasn't great. And then when they brought in Mateo, they did a little bit better. But the whole time, you didn't really see Matthew Reslov till the end of the game. I don't think Anton Blumgren even played in the game.
He had 2 receptions.
Oh, he did? Okay. Well,
yeah, he played. I seen him running really fast on the sideline.
Okay, so he was just out there doing a track meet. So the
Exactly.
quarterback was he was out there track practicing, kind of like you were, but I ain't gonna get too much into that. But to be back to the positive, Miranda was making some great catches. He was making, sideline catches. The toe tap was crazy. I'm sad he didn't score a touchdown, so we didn't have to see that ugly gritty that he has. But it was really good to see him kind of step up when they needed somebody because you could tell that Carlstad did a really good job of taking away their top options. That's what it is. Matthew Reslov and Anton Blumgren, those are the top options. And I said this going into the season. Their number 3 option ain't that bad, and that's Robin Miranda, and he did his thing. Unfortunately, weren't able to get the win. I think that had something to do with some other things, not necessarily like him specifically, but great job by him. That's why he stood out to me. And then another guy I want to talk about is defensive lineman Malcolm Engstrom from Tyresö. I'm trying not to get too technical into this, but I know who number 95 is every game. So I'm watching 95 to see what he gonna do. And I noticed early in the game, and especially in this game, where it looked like AIK was able to like move the ball, and Tyresö just really wasn't stopping them in the run game or the pass game. Like there wasn't too like they had pressure, but they weren't getting there. They were able to tackle him. They were able to tackle the runners, but it was after they got a couple yards. Well, Engstrom started the game at defensive end, which is not his position. He's a defensive tackle, not a nose guard, not a defensive end. He's a defensive tackle. Well, they had him at end for most of the first half.
I could think he could play in at a high level.
He could play it.
He got bigger, but I think in used to be his natural position.
Listen, he could play it. And in this game, as you saw, like AIK didn't like score any points or anything, and he played in and he did his thing and he won his battle most of the time. Was never really able to get to the quarterback. Second half, they moved him back to tackle. Game changed defensively for Tyresö. Go back and look at the film. After that, once he goes back to defensive tackle, he's putting in pressure on the quarterback from that tackle position because it's a shorter route to the quarterback. The actual left guard or right guard, whoever he has to go against, they can't angle him to go around the quarterback because he's so close to him already. And then in the run game, they slowed down whatever AIK was doing. They weren't able to run anymore in the fourth quarter. And that's something that really stood out to me is that having him play his natural position. And again, I think he originally was a defensive end, like you said, Juice, but he's gotten a little bit bigger and he's gotten maybe a little bit stronger, maybe a little bit slower. I don't know. I don't want to say he's slow, but when he moved back to his position, their defense became unstoppable. And that's something that Tyresö has to figure out how they really want to use him. And I think they were missing one of their DNs. That's why he was at DN, because the other guy that they put in his spot at DN, that's not normally their starter. Again, you never know because they keep changing jersey numbers, but normally he's inside at tackle. Number 98 is at nose. Number 6 is on the DN, and I forget who plays the other DN. And that's normally how they run their defense, but they started him at defensive end, which lets me know that there was some type of substitution that they had to do. But once he went back to his regular position, their defense was lights out. AIK had no chance at that point, even though they were up score-wise, of course. But at that point, like AIK wasn't moving the ball anymore. And that's the impact that Malcolm Engstrom plays on this team. I think that's something that needs to be said. So I said it. And I'm watching. That's what I'm watching. That's it for me for top player performances. You guys got anybody else you want to throw out there before we move on?
Yeah, he mentioned Evan Johnson, but I got to give it credit to him. And I'll just be quick with this. It's just like he is a ball magnet on special teams, and he's a physical guy on the field. So shout out to him. Sorry that I almost let that slip by because Örebro, we're not going to be talking about them later.
True. Yeah, I'll throw that out there too. He is the MVP that we chose for this week. So we obviously enjoyed his game, and he was definitely a playmaker for Örebro. So we'll move on. All right, Super Serien teams are back in action this weekend, and now we're at the point where we're gonna start seeing where people line up in the standings, man. Which is gonna make me go look at it online. But let me just throw it out there. First place, Crusaders 6-0. Second place, Royal Crowns 4-1. Third place, Mean Machines 4-1. Fourth place is Black Knights at 2-3. Fifth place somehow is AIK at 1-3.
They only play 4 games.
Yeah, they only play 4 games. And then tied in 6th through 8th is the Vikings, the Griffins, and the Predators, who are all 1-4. So this weekend might be, where we shake a couple leaves. First game, we have AIK versus Stockholm Mean Machines. You got a 1-3 team playing a 4-1 team. Then you got K-Town Predators, who are 1-4, playing Tyresö Royal Crowns, who are 4-1. And then last game, which is really going to be what shakes things up, is Limhamn Griffins versus Oslo Vikings. Both teams are 1-4. Now, if you want to get a detailed preview of those games, head on over to firstdownmag.com and read my in-depth analysis. Matter of fact, sign up for the website and get those previews as soon as they're published. But for podcast purposes, we'll discuss keys to victory for each of these teams playing. And also, there will be a Sunday game on May 26th where Carlstad Crusaders will be playing the Örebro Black Knights. Carlstad is what 6-0. Black
6-0.
Knights, yeah. The Black Knights are 2-3. So again, that game will kind of shake up the standings no matter who wins or loses it. So we'll get into each one of these matchups and start talking about the keys to victory. All right, first game we got AIK versus Mean Machines. We're going to talk about the AIK team. Juice, I'll let you lead this off. What is some keys to victory for AIK to win this game?
I think it's simple. I do believe that IE Core could be a team that could upset other teams based off how they played against Tyresö this week. They did a good job establishing a run game against a team that we thought would be more dominant. So a major key to victory for them is that they can't put themselves in third and long, second and long positions. They got to be a team that's, from what I've seen, you're guessing. You don't know if they're going to run or pass after their first play. Say it's like, for example, 2nd and 7. You don't know if they're going to pass or going to run, and that's what they've shown. And they did a lot of quick screens and things like that. And continue to keep number one at quarterback. I believe that's their way to having a successful match against other teams.
All right, what about you, Antoine? Keys to victory for AIK.
They have to protect their quarterback. I mean, they allow 5 sacks in this last game, even though they did a good job moving the ball and they looked like they could actually like move the ball and sustain the drive and put points on the board. You got to do it more consistently. You got to do it more often, and you got to protect your quarterback better. Even though Max Lambert, he is more mobile than Victor, you still have to protect him because like I said, he was able to get sacked 5 times this game. So just protect them a little bit better, and put points on the board more consistently, and figure out your drives more. Get your drive scripts going a little bit better. I think in practice they should focus on that, like have set scripts on like this is what we're doing. This is not going to change, so everybody feels more comfortable. So there's nothing out of the blue. Like I don't think their offense can handle like them switching it up and can be very situational. I think they just have to stick to certain stuff and then just keep running it over and over again. Honestly, I'm
actually going to go the opposite way. I'm going to say, AIK, throw that kid in the sink at these guys. I think this is the opportunity for you to take down the Mean Machines when they're down. Again, we don't know their quarterback situation. We saw what happened last week. Mateo's still not full. Like, he's not himself. So when Stockholm Mean Machines play you, they're going to be conservative. They're going to be very, like, consistent. They're going to make sure they run the ball as much as possible against you. And when you get the ball, throw the kitchen sink at them. Like, because they're not going to be able to necessarily handle a high-scoring game themselves. So you might not have to score a lot. You just need to score at the right time. Look at what happened against Carlstad last week. The game was 7-7 going in the fourth quarter, and that's what the Mean Machines wanted. And then it got out of hand with big plays. And that's what I'm saying for AIK. You got to find a way to manufacture big plays. Of course, I agree with you, Antoine. They definitely got to, run the ball, be consistent. But at the same time, I know y'all practice some trick plays in the offseason. Y'all need to fine-tune that stuff this week and be able to calculate when to do them. There's going to be certain moments. You can't just come out with a trick play, which also reminds me, we didn't talk about the fact that Stockholm Mean Machine started the game off with an onside kick. So just remember who you're playing. Just remember who you're playing. They're not going to just, roll over and let you compete with them. And if they see any chinks in your armor, if they see any weaknesses, they're going to take advantage of it early. They're not going to wait. So for AIK, you got to go out there and hit them when they're not expecting it. You got to be in a situation where maybe it's 4th and long and you're supposed to punt and you pull off a dramatic fake. Now, I don't know if you could pull that off, but that might be your opportunity because either way they're going to get the ball, right? So nothing lost. But I think for AIK to really have a chance in this game, they've got to make some big plays. It's a big moments. I like the Max Lambert. I think there's something you could do with that quarterback. I think there's some trick plays involved with him and Big Vic that could happen. Who's the new receiver that they had? Is it number 12? Is that his number?
Yeah, number 12. To be honest, I think
Yeah.
he's already been there, but he
You
just
just haven't
started
seen
making
him.
plays.
Okay, he just haven't been on the field.
I got to bring him up. Yeah, because they finally found their playmaker. It's him.
Yeah.
Get him the ball.
I mean, I'm not gonna say all that. I'm still
mean,
a fan. I'm still a fan of number 3. Number
Hey,
3
to
is
them,
my
that's a
guy.
playmaker. Their whole fans like, yeah, give 12 the ball.
Yeah,
True.
for them, yeah. For
He
them,
did
yeah,
make-
that's a playmaker.
He did make some. I'm gonna go look up his name. You know how we do. Sine Tadese.
We keep his name low key right now. I gotta see him do it against Stockholm. Then we'll start giving him his flowers.
Okay, so here's what we're doing. You got to earn your name on this show.
Exactly.
Right now, you're
Exactly.
number 12. You're number 12 until we decide otherwise.
Yeah.
That's fine. Okay, so moving on to the Stockholm team, Mean Machines. What do you think they need to do to get a win in this one? Antoine, I'll let you start this one off.
They need to figure out their quarterback situation. If Mateo isn't 100%, I'm not saying that AIK is just going to roll over and let you win, but they're expected to win. Like you're expected to win in this. Your favorites to win in this game anyway. So like, if Mateo's not 100%, you don't need him in this game. Let him rest up a little bit more because there's more important games down the line. So, I mean, it's like we said earlier, their backup quarterback didn't do a terrible job at all. He was just a little limited in the pass game, but that's to be expected when you're the backup. But yeah, man, I mean, I think they'll do a great job running the ball this week. So I don't think they really will be reliant on the pass game too much. I don't know. Stockholm, they kind of remind me of like a computer system where like there's rarely any emotion that gets involved in these wins or losses. So I don't think like this win hinders them in any way. They're just like, okay, we'll just bounce back next week, which they more than likely will. But I don't know, play with a little bit more emotion, like beat up on these guys a little bit. I don't know.
I think I'm having a little bit of ADHD. I'm listening to you, but I'm also looking at your shirt now. Are you wearing a shirt that says Sweden on it?
Sweden football from Rare.
Okay, all right. I thought the shirt just said Sweden. I was like, what is this dude doing?
Rare, baby.
Okay. All right. Just making sure. I was going to call you a tourist. Like, this
I'm not
man's
a
in
tourist.
Sweden. I'm saying. I'm like, I thought you were wearing a shirt that just said Sweden. I was like, this dude just wearing a shirt that says Sweden. You know. I know I digress, but I was watching. I was like, hold on, he's not being a tourist, is he? But what about you?
I'm gonna let you know what my shirt says. My shirt says "damage done."
I mean, it'd be different if it said Finland. I'd be like, what? But for you, Juice, what do you think Mean Machine need to do?
Stockholm just need to dominate the game. That is as simple as that. And one thing that I would just say, offensively, since this is the big question mark, just like Johan, add some more run plays for him to be a quarterback. They don't need to pass the ball much. Just run the ball.
Is it crazy for me to say, like, if the Mean Machines do what Johan, what AIK does with Max Lambert, that'd be fine?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if they're supposed to be comparable, but I feel like skill set wise, I mean, Max might be a little bit better, more experienced, it looks. But I feel
in the passing game,
yeah. I mean, Johan hasn't played quarterback in some time. You know, I mean, he's a tremendous athlete, and he won the U19 championship. I'm going off these stats they said in the game. Hopefully, he's right, so he makes me right. I'm quoting him. I've seen Johan for a long time. He's a good athlete. He just hasn't played quarterback in some time. And to be honest, I've seen him on vacations a lot of times. You know, I was like, bro, where's he doing? I'd rather have him in Finland. You know what I mean? That guy is a baller at receiver.
For me, I would say for Stockholm, stop fucking around. That's what this game is stop fucking around, because that last game we saw them doing things that just don't make sense for them, and they took the loss because of it. Again, they could have won that game. They were in that game the whole time, and they never pressed. Like you said, Antoine, there was no emotion. It never seemed like they were like, oh, we got to figure something out. It was like, well, it'll work out eventually, and it did. And it didn't. And now you know what happens when you think that it'll work out eventually. It might not. And we just said it here earlier that AIK is not a bad team. I mean, not as bad as we thought they were. Mm-hmm. And they'll surprise you now that they figure some things out. It took them 5 or 6 weeks. We're 2 months in. This is episode 12. We're 2 months into the season, and now everyone kind of knows who they are. But I feel like the Mean Machines, we don't really know. They had a lot of bye weeks. They play in these international games. That's a totally different thing. But in the Super Serien, we don't really know who the Mean Machines are because they haven't really played that much or shown that much. And this is one of those games where you don't want to just win. You want people to know that, okay, we might have lost to Carlstad, but we could have beat them. Like that's what you're going to tell us. And if you go in this game and win 21-6, then we know that you're not really in it, and we're going to start talking about Tyresö and Carlstad. Like it is what it is. You can't be messing around in this game. This is a statement game for you. AIK just happens to be the team you're playing against. They just happen to be the team. Go ahead, Juice.
Yeah, I mean, I was just gonna say, I wish, to be honest, I just want Carlstad and Tyresö to play in the championship. To be honest, I think I want to
that too.
According to y'all, Stockholm, if y'all want to take this loss, that's cool.
Yeah, honestly, I'm feeling that Tyresö versus Carlstad rematch in the championship game.
I'll tell y'all about that later. Next game up, we have K-Town Predators versus Tyresö Royal Crowns. Let's go with the Predators first. Juice, what do you think they need to do to get a win?
I wrote in my notes 2, step it up. You know what I mean? And
Jacob Stenberg, he earns a name.
Yeah,
Jacob Stenberg.
He has a name. Jacob Stenberg. My bad. Excuse me. I still got respect for you. Your quarterback is going to need you, and probably somebody else going to need to step up because they're going against Tyresö, correct? I'm not tripping, right? Yeah.
Tyresö.
I mean, Tyresö got the best receiving core, but luckily he's in the slot and he don't have the face. I say Tyresö has the best receiving core. Tyresö, well, that's one, but Tyresö has the best cornerback core, like two pairs, and Jacob Silver is going to be in the slot, so he don't really have to worry about getting locked down this weekend.
So Sebastian can't move to nickel. He can't play slot.
Hey, don't try to, because I know what you're trying to go with this. You're trying to say, he can't play in the slot. Oh, he not the best. You know what I mean?
I'm just saying, maybe I mean, we're on here. We always asking the things from these teams. Maybe we say, hey, how about y'all show us a little something different here? So put your boy in the slot. Show his versatility. And you put him in the slot, like you said. If you put him in the slot, now we can say, okay, maybe he is, Europe ready. Because if he was to go somewhere else, maybe he's not the 1 or 2, and he needs to get on the field playing a slot. Maybe need a little film. Get you a little film. Go slot against Jacob Stenberg.
Sebastian, he import ready.
Yeah. But I'm saying, like, what if we get some, nickel film on him? This be the opportunity. What are you gonna lose?
They're gonna put Josh says at safety or something like that. I mean, Josh says he's good on defense, but he's not. That's not his natural position.
I'm saying the Predators have no other options on the receiving core. So you lose nothing by putting Sebastian on their best receiver and letting him get some work. Because think about it. If you're Tyresö going to this game, it's all about getting in, getting up with points, getting your backups in, staying healthy, right? Yep. So if you're Sebastian, this is almost a wasted game because they're not going to throw at your side. They're not. Because one, that's not who they want to throw to. Why not slide inside? See what you can do. I mean, if you do well, great. You got film going against a big receiver in the slot and show your versatility. If it doesn't go well, say you don't play as well as you want to, that's fine because that's not your position. And even if you go to slot and he scores 1 or 2 touchdowns, y'all still gonna win the game. So it's not gonna hurt anything for him to, branch out a little bit. But that's just me wanting to see a player prove his worth. That's just me. I mean, I'm all about the competition.
I think me and Antoine, we second that. And lastly, I would just say if they can establish a run game, maybe have Northfleet do that. I think that's the only thing they can do for a key to victory.
I'm agreeing with you said. Hold up, or is it Antoine's go?
Antoine go right now. I'm done. I'm done with this.
I don't think Myron's playing. I think Myron. I think he's injured. They're done. If your whole team's offense is reliant on number 1 and number 2, and number 1 is out, who is getting number 2 the ball? So number 2, I heard rumors that he might be playing QB. It's just a rumor. I heard.
Well, that's what they're gonna have to. Yeah.
And then who are you throwing the ball to?
Somebody that can't catch.
Listen, man, they're done. I'm sorry. I hate being the bearer of bad news, but they're done. They're absolutely done. I said this at the beginning of the season when we were doing our preview show that I didn't know which team was going to go winless, but obviously AIK and the Predators, they both got to win. But they're going to be the 2 teams, and maybe even Limhamn. They're going to be the 3 teams that end up with just 1 victory on the year, unfortunately. Yeah, but the Predators, they're done. There's not much they can do, especially with that defense. And that defense has to stop Tyresö's offense.
Offense, yeah.
Örebro's offense hit rolling clock. They hit rolling clock. It was 35-0 with like 9 minutes to go in the second quarter.
Yeah.
In the second quarter, they're done. There's nothing they can do. They're done.
Okay, so I'll try to end it positively for these guys. Keys to victory for the Predators, I think between Jacob Stenberg, and I guess I'm gonna have to go with numbers for the other guys because they haven't earned anything else yet. But I want to say the running back is number 24, and then also a slot receiver number 23. I like call him Orange Gloves. Yes, orange in his hand. Between the three of them, if they're able to do some type of triple option, read option, jet sweep plays, keep Tyresö moving on defense, get a couple plays where hit a gap here, make somebody miss, get a couple first downs. I think you can limit how much time Tyresö has the ball. The only problem with that is it will take Tyresö about 2 seconds to score, and then you got to do it all over again. But that's something that Antoine said earlier is that the Predators are good at time of possession. They're good at having the ball for a long time, and they just need to continue that in this game, but they have to find a different way to do it if they don't have their quarterback or if they're not able to pass it as much as they want to. One thing about their passing game is their running game because Norfleet ends up running a lot of times in passing situations. So you get in a passing situation, but you run the ball and the clock keeps going. And again, even if you have Jacob Stenberg at quarterback, that's what you do. Something that I learned a long time in Europe is let's go spread. Everybody go fades. Quarterback take 2 steps, find the gap. Eventually, there's going to be a lane. All the linebackers going to turn and bail. You got plenty of room to find somewhere to run. Maybe that's what they could do to win. I don't know. But I think that they have a chance if they hold the ball as long as possible. Defensively, they're going to give up the butt. There's nothing they can do about it.
Them holding the ball longer is not going to do anything. Like you said,
it's going to limit. You lose, 30-0 instead of 45-6. That's all I'm saying.
They had the ball for 10 minutes longer than Örebro did this past weekend.
Again, I'm saying a victory is to lose by a little, not a lot. I'm not saying a victory to win. I'm saying a victory is a moral victory that, hey, they didn't score 100 on us. That's a victory.
Who's going to stop Josh Hicks?
Tyresö going to take him out because they ain't no point in getting him hurt out here.
They're going to take him out after once they hit rolling clock, which will probably be 11 minutes in the second quarter this week?
Let's actually talk about keys to victory for Tyresö, and I'm gonna lead this one off because I think that kind of hits on keys to victory for them. For Tyresö, it's all about getting in, scoring a couple of touchdowns, and then getting your backups in. We saw last week they have depth at the receiver position, they have depth at the running back position, they have a decent quarterback who I think is a national team quarterback. In is it Hayden? I forget how to pronounce his name, and this is the game that those guys get to play. And so for them, it's how fast can we get them in the game? I think once you get up 14-0, you're comfortable. Put them in the game. And you'll still score 40 points, in my opinion. But I think for them to win in this game is to score quick, get their backups in, and get some rest for the starters and get some good work for their substitute guys because they're going to need them in a couple of weeks as the season starts to get long for everybody. And summer holidays start showing up, so people just don't show up to games. People go to weddings and stuff. Y'all know who that's for. What about you, Juice?
I just really want to be unprofessional with this one. I just think that Tyresö just need to have fun on the field, not have too much fun because we see that they start off this past game against ICOR, not as good as they think that they should have, but I think ICOR did a good job. But unprofessionally, go on the field, know that you're going to dominate this game, and enjoy it. Enjoy the game. Have fun.
Antoine, what are your thoughts on this one for Tyresö?
Let Double V cook, man.
Where's he been?
He's been
probably vacation.
I don't know.
I see. He probably went to a wedding. He's invited to my wedding, though, for sure. I like him.
Let him secure Rookie of the Year. Honestly, let him go out there, have fun. I think he has another big game. I do think Haywood, he goes out there and he throws probably like 5 touchdowns because, you got to get the receivers work too. But Yeah, after every one of their receivers gets a touchdown, and then you could take all of them out, and then let Double V stay in though, and let him secure the bag. Let him have like 200 yards rushing. I think he could do it, honestly, against this team, especially after what I saw last week.
We did good in the first half. This is third quarter that always runs long for us. So keys to victory. We got Limhamn Griffins versus Oslo Vikings. And I mean, this is obviously the real game of the week. So let's talk about the Limhamn Griffins, who we haven't seen in a couple of weeks. Juice, what do you think they need to do to win this one?
They need to give their lives to the Lord Jesus Christ and say a prayer and just understand, win or loss, that your faith is in Jesus Christ. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
That's what my faith. But anyways, I just don't got faith in them right now. I mean, to be honest, I just hope that their last loss, put a taste in their mouth. They've been off, and they just come ready to play. I do think they have tools to win the game. I just don't see them doing it. Defensively, they're not as consistent. Offensively, you guys already got the question mark on the quarterback. They got a solid receiver, a solid running back who can do some things. I'll say this. I think their best opportunity by winning this game is to score points with the offense. Defensively, I don't think they're going to have. If Oslo played the right way that Oslo is supposed to play, I think it can be a long game, and it could or turn out to a shootout. And hopefully they win the shootout battle. That's all I have.
What about you, Antoine? What can Oslo do to get a victory?
Listen, the Predators are at one end of the boat. Limham's at the other end of the boat. They're both in the same boat. They both don't have a quarterback. I know Limham's quarterback is out, so we're wishing him a speedy recovery and all that. But if you have to put Nessich in and you're just running the Wildcat, it's going to get very predictable, and Will is going to have a field day with that. So I don't know. There's not much they can do. I mean, like Juice said, they're very inconsistent, and they're very inconsistent on both sides of the ball. Like you said earlier, Purvis, it's so late in the season now that these teams are kind of what they're going to be for the rest of the year.
Yeah, there's only like 2 more regular season games. I'm just looking at the schedule.
Exactly.
Like it's pretty much over.
And they're still very inconsistent from week to week. So I don't think there's much that they can do to win this game. Unfortunately for them.
I'll be a little more optimistic. Apparently, I'm the optimistic one in this episode. Finally, I'm the optimistic one. Griffins, I think there's ways to win this.
I agree.
Again, kitchen sink. How you beat Örebro? You got to bring back a little bit of that magic. I liked how they played in that game earlier in the year. We've seen throughout the year them trying to get more to a more conventional offense, and that hasn't worked. And against Oslo, let's just keep it a buck. Without number one, they're beatable. Like you can score all points in the world against that defense if Will Sowell isn't on the field. But he will be on the field from what we've been told or what we expect anyways. And I think for them to really get this game to be competitive in this game, they need to figure out a way to negate Will Sowell or avoid him. I know avoiding him is going to be very hard, but if you can find a way to get him, into situations where he's not actively stopping your play, you'll be fine. You find out that the rest of that defense is not really worth much. And then on the defensive side, just hold on tight. They have a good quarterback. They have decent running game, but your defense it's not no slouches. Their receivers are better than your corners and your DBs. That is what it is, but also their receivers are fluky. Oslo's receiving core, they're going to drop the ball. Quarterback is going to do a good job of extending the plays, but their receivers aren't that great at the the scramble drill, getting to the right spots so he can get them the ball. So let them beat themselves on offense, but on your offense for Limhamn, you just got to find a way to make plays and avoid number one. If you do that, we're looking at a 32-28 type of game, either or. It could go either way. And I think they have a chance to do that. It's a slim chance. I'll keep it 100. It's a slim chance. But if they do that,
Yeah.
they could be
I'm
in this
glad you
game.
said slim because you're being very optimistic.
I'm being very optimistic, but I think if they get Message involved the way they need
It sounded a
to,
little good too. It did sound like
It did. It's very
I need that
convincing.
pregame speech.
I had you going with me for a second.
Hey, go ahead and clip this and send it to him at 30 minutes before the kickoff.
Yeah, a little motivational speech for you guys. But going to the flip side, Oslo Vikings, keys to victory. What do you got, Antoine?
Just continue to play how they've been playing these past couple of weeks. I mean, they've been putting together great games offensively and defensively as well. So just continue. I mean, the playoffs is right there. Like you said, there's not many games left in the season, and we said before their win against the Predators, we said that they have to win out, and this is just another game on your docket. Just keep checking them off. Have fun. We believe it. I'm picking them to win. So,
Juice, what about you?
Yeah, I agree. Your break is over. Your break is over. Take one game at a time and understand that playoffs is in sight for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, how many wins do they have? They have one win, right?
Yeah, one. Yeah.
So they got to play this team, and then their last game is going to be against AIK.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's exciting.
That's going to be a game, but
that's exciting.
I don't want to tell y'all about that game right now, but but I'll say for Oslo, I think it's pretty cut and dry. Do your thing. Play your football, and you should win this game. There's not a lot that they can do to really stop you from what you're doing. And like I said, it's a slim chance. But if Will Sowell's on defense and he makes the plays that he normally makes, you're going to be up. If your receivers catch the balls they normally should catch, you're going to be up. If your running back makes a few more plays than he normally makes, you're going to be up. Like it's just more about being consistent for the Vikings. And again, like we said, down the stretch, you went through the gauntlet 0-4. Now you're in that back end. You're 1-0. We expect you to win this game. You go out there and play your style of football that you've already shown. You should be fine. I think CJ Fowler has a big game. I think he's going to be from what I've seen, he's the type of leader that will lead them to a victory. Like he won't let them lose this game. And one thing that really is on their side is they have to win. If this is a win or go home for them, while Limhamn, they're in the Super Serien. Congratulations. But the Vikings, they're representing more than just a team in the Super Serien. They're representing a country in Norway and how you fit into the mold of Sweden. And that's the thing. Like the first win that they got last week, we're seeing it all on the socials because their socials are great.
Yeah,
they're winning the social games. But they didn't say first win of the season. They said first win in Sweden
ever.
Like that's what they're excited about. So now going into this game, they're trying to build upon that. I think that going into this game, all they have to do is do you and continue it throughout this game, and you'll be all right. So we'll move on to the last game. All right, we got a Sunday game, and we have Carlstad Crusaders versus Örebro Black Knights. Let's start. You know what? I don't care who home's away. Let's start with the team that is probably going to lose and start with Örebro. What do they need to do to get a victory? Because that way we can end on the good team. Juice, you can take this one first.
I mean, there's some positive that Örebro showed from this past week. I think that, as I said earlier, they needed to play a game that they played this past week. It gives more confidence to the players. Keys to victory for Örebro is that they get the ball to the playmakers. I don't know. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think Johannes played this past weekend, or he just was not relevant.
I think he was there, but he didn't play. I thought I saw him jump on the field for somebody one time, but then he got right back off.
Love the way his little brother played. I mean, I love the brothers, all of them coming back out. I mean, I hope Murphy brother come out, all the Murphy brothers, the Linnaeus brothers, the Janssens brothers, you know what I mean? But keys of victory. Offensively, get the ball to your playmakers. I think there's a chance, protect Vasey, make sure that he stays healthy in this game. Defensively, take away the quick game from Carlstad and stop young Kennedy and keep your eyes on number 4.
What about you, Antoine? Keys of victory for Örebro.
Listen, they've been playing great football the past couple of weeks. I can't take anything away from them. I do think this game kind of is that reset button. Unfortunately, I think they go back to the Örebro who we saw before they've been playing good. I don't think their line is going to protect Basie as well as they should in order for him to. Yeah, so he's going to be running a lot more in this game for sure.
Basie knows that. That's why he's playing backyard football.
Yeah. But for them, if their offensive line can protect them and give them just a half a second longer to be able to utilize the quick game, I think they do stand a chance. That's their only key. I think they have to make it a shootout from the offensive end because their defense is. I don't think their defense is going to be able to take away as much as they need to in order to, slow down Carlstad's offense. I think their offense is going to have to score. You're just going to have to score every time you get the ball. I don't know how you get it done. Is it possible? Yeah. Their offense is good enough to put up points against Carlstad, but you just got to find a way to get it done, and that's a task in itself. Just try to make the game a shootout.
Yeah, definitely. I kind of agree with what you're saying, Antoine. In my analysis, I'll say it a little bit different. Instead of saying like make it a shootout, what I'm gonna say is make them play like you play. I think OBK needs to make Carlstad play backyard football. And I'm speaking mostly to the defense. I think offensively, what's going to happen is what's going to happen. Vasey going to run around. You might score some points. You might not. There's not much you could do. Their defense is stacked, and it is what it is. But what you can do is defensively, you can make them uncomfortable. You can put them in situations where the plays don't happen on time, where the quarterback has to run around a little bit more to find his receivers. And we've seen that sometimes their receivers will drop the ball. You're not supposed to, but in this situation, rely on that. Rely on the fact that they're a little bit inconsistent in their receiving core, and you can get them into some situation where maybe they don't catch it. Maybe don't rely when they're throwing like out routes to Alvin Forsman because, oh, buddy, he's catching them things. Mm-hmm. But the other two, Will and Christian Altonen, they've been known to drop balls in certain areas if that's the way you want to go about it, and force their quarterback into a situation where he's not comfortable. Don't allow the running back to run. Young Kennedy, when he's not jogging, he's pretty fast. But if he doesn't get started, he's not going to make 5 people miss in the backfield and then roll out on you. But if you get to him before he gets a good head in front of him, if you can force them into situations and create turnovers. Turnovers will be the deciding factor in this game. The team that creates turnovers is going to win. You seen last week against the Mean Machines, Carlstad had 3 interceptions and a forced fumble. I think they had 2 forced fumbles, but one of them was like a normal fumble. Whatever. They won a turnover battle. That's what Örebro has to do in this game is create turnovers. Personally, I think those turnovers need to be created against their quarterback, but I have some good things to say about him. Like, I'm not going to do too much of that from a Örebro standpoint. But for them to win this game, creating turnovers and making the Carlstad offense more of a backyard offense instead of them doing what they want to do. And you basically just have to pull out their players. Like, are their players step up? Even last week, offensively, individually, their players didn't really rise to the occasion. Their defense won them that game.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what you know. You know that if you can force their offense to play bad or not as good as it normally does, you have a chance. And you give your offense a chance, who, again, I don't have much inspiration for those guys, but you still have – there's opportunity. So let's go to the team that's probably going to win the game, Carlstad Crusaders. Juice, what do you think they need to do to get a victory?
I would just love to see them dominate. Just dominate the game. I'm a fan of Carlstad this year. I'm a fan of Tyresö this year. Definitely want to see both of them in the finals. Carlstad, offensively, they're doing a good job spreading the ball, being a mixed balance. Do your game plan, but I do want to see Kennedy getting the ball a lot more. Or if we say the opposite, don't give the ball to Kennedy, they might give him the ball. Defensively, man, they just so physical.
Can we say that Carlstad has the best defense in the league?
Yeah, they did that
yet?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I guess we need to just say it out loud.
Yeah. I'll simply speak because I don't want to go down the list because Carlstad, they're doing a good job. Continue what you're doing, but just continue to dominate. O-line for Carlstad, continue to dominate. Nobody is messing with y'all when it comes to that.
What about you, Antoine? What do you got?
Go out there and have fun. This is your last game of the season. I mean, you already guaranteed a playoff spot. You're already there. You already made it to the show. Yeah,
They clinched
this
it.
is their last. Oh, this is their last game. I forgot
yeah.
about that.
Go out, there
7-game
and,
season.
go out there and have a party on these boys. I mean, take your revenge back. Last year in the last game of the season, Örebro beat Carlstad and they knocked them out of the playoffs. So beat these boys. Get your revenge back. Have fun. Have fun with it. That's really all they have to do. They have the best defense in the league, as we just said, and their offense is capable of putting up points. And we've seen whenever Jarman has like a kind of mid game, what does he come out and do the next game? He's going to come out and have a big game this week, I think.
So, and he ran too. He ran.
Yeah, and he ran. Yeah.
Against Stockholm.
Yeah. So
he said, "I'm going to win."
He didn't throw any passing touchdowns this week, but I think he comes back. I think he has like another game where he has like 4 to 5 passing touchdowns, and they just have fun. Look, they're already partying. I think in Carlstad, man. They know they're a great team. They're a great organization. I like them a lot. Yeah, I believe in them. They beat Stockholm. I believe in them, man. I think they have a great chance of being crowned champions this year for sure. So yeah, man, just go out and have fun.
I'm gonna agree with everything you guys said and just basically reiterate what Antoine said. I say put up the stats. If it's the last game, like you said, the quarterback didn't throw any touchdowns last game, so you got to throw up 3 or 4 this game. I would hope that they would let Kennedy cook. I would like that, but also I know that would mean having the ball a little bit longer and keeping the score a little bit lower. But maybe you come out, put up 4 or 5 touchdowns in the first quarter. Just come out and throw that thing. Don't be afraid. Their defensive backs are they got some weak spots. So I think your receivers are going to be winning more matchups than anything. So throw them things out there, get them points, take them receivers out. Now they got their stats, and then let Kennedy, do his thing. I think that'll help them definitely get a win this week. That's it for third quarter.
Drip, grind, and stand out. That's the Improved Athletes way. Improved Athletes, a European sports brand based in Milano. If you want to look good and be successful in athletics, go and head over to improveathletes.com to stand out with your new drip.
All right, so we're in the fourth quarter finally. Picking winners of football games not easy, but we're going to put our picks out there anyways. Brought to you by our partners at Improved Athletes, where you can grind, drip, and stand out. Our picks will be available on Instagram at ProFootballSweden, where you can make your comments. No need to flood the DMs. First game we got coming up this weekend is AIK versus Stockholm Mean Machines. Juice, tell us who you got and why.
Hey, you guys, the world is about to be shocked when I say this, but I'm going with Icor.
What?
I'm going with Icor.
Hold on. I feel like that's very disrespectful, but go ahead.
It is disrespectful. And I know I'm about to get some unfollowers. I'm about to get some messages and things like this. Whatever, say la vie. But I'm going with Icor because I think that they feel motivated. And I also think that Stockholm on the other side feels like this is one of those games where, you know what? Hey, it's Icor. We don't need Mateo was cool this week. We get the job done. We can run the ball and things like this. And I think that Icor on the other side of this, they think that Stockholm is going to underestimate them, and that loss is not even a big matter to Stockholm. Oh, they're not thinking about, we lost this game to Carlstad. We need to dominate this week. They just want to figure out their quarterback situation. I think that Icor simply has the advantage right there, and they're going to have a game plan. And it seems like they're the only team that's gotten better. Well, I mean, Örebro got a bit better, but they're progressing from like the lower division team, and I think this is an upset week for them. That's what I think.
What do you have to say to that?
I'm feeling shocked a little bit. It was pretty convincing. Like all your points are valid, and that would necessarily help them win. But even though they've gotten better, AIK hasn't shown me that they're capable of putting up points at a consistent level. Like they only put up 7 points, and we're like, even though they look better, at the end of the day, you only put up 7 points. And I do think Stockholm
only put up 7 points last week. I'm rolling the dice.
Very, very true. But I'm picking Stockholm, and it's just simple. They're just the better team. As long as they don't play too many games with the quarterback position, like make up your minds and make a decision, and you do play with some heart, you do show some emotion instead of like this computer system, like I said earlier. Just go out and win the game. You're better than them. Just show them that you're better than them and just beat them.
I feel like maybe I said something earlier to confuse y'all about how good AIK is. Like, they good, but they ain't that good. Like, they're doing some things, but they ain't doing great things. Like, they're doing good things for them, not good things for the league.
I'm gambling, man.
I'm with you. You're fine to gamble. I'm obviously going to go with Stockholm Mean Machines. And I just want to say that this is one of those games where the Mean Machine have something to prove in this game. AIK, I mean, obviously, like I said previously, if they throw the kitchen sink at them, yeah, you can knock them off. You might get the win, or you can hope you can get the win. But even if they just play close, that's going to be a victory for AIK because it shows that, like we've said before, that's the progression. They're getting better.
They're getting better. And Stockholm DBs, they're cornerback. They got 22. I think Enoch was his name. He showed me that he can ball a bit more. He should have been starting from the beginning of the season. Don't know why, but whatever. But I think that Stockholm has some hope. Yeah, he's big. You know, he looks strong. But you know, I would attack their corners. I would attack their corners, have the quarterback do some sprint outs.
I don't think AIK's receivers are.
They're not. Yeah,
to attack their corners. Yeah. It'd be different. You're talking like Tyresö or Carlstad or even OBK, but AIK. I like Stockholm in this one mostly just because I think even if Stockholm plays bad and AIK plays exceptionally great, it'll come down. Like AIK isn't going to put up 30 points. That's not going to happen. Like you said earlier about their offense, they moved the ball last week, but they couldn't score. And that's just how Stockholm defense plays all year. That's how they've been playing is we'll let you get some yards, but we're not going to let you score. And if your offense is already accustomed to that, nothing's going to change in this matchup. When it comes down to it in certain moments in this game and you're going to need big plays, it's going to be either AIK or an individual makes a big play versus an individual from the Mean Machine. When you look at how many individual big playmakers they have, Stockholm got more, and we can expect more from them. AIK, someone who we haven't named or haven't said their number, have to show up and do something crazy. Like in that first game that they lost when they had that kickoff return brought back. That was crazy. They ain't done nothing like that since. You ain't seen a big play from AIK. They don't have big play ability. Yeah, I said it. They don't have big play ability. And that's what's going to be the difference in this game is that Stockholm has big play ability. Even though they didn't show it last week, they still have the ability. And we know that going into this game. So definitely going with Mean Machine. But the second game, we got K-Town Predators versus Tyresö Royal Crowns. Antoine, who you got and why?
Tyresö Royal Crowns because they're better. Plain and simple. It's that easy.
Juice, what about you?
Same. I'm not saying nothing different. Same.
And I third that. Moving on to the third game, Limhamn Griffins versus Oslo Vikings. Juice, who you got and why?
I'm going with Oslo Vikings. I do think it could be a close match, but I'm going with Oslo Vikings. I think they're the better team, and I think they have better playmakers to dominate.
Antoine, what about you?
Yeah, Oslo. They're slightly better than Limhamn, and Limhamn plays too inconsistently for them to be able to pull this one out. I do think it's close, but Oslo wins.
I'm going to agree with you guys. Mostly because I really need them to win because I said a lot of good things about Oslo before the season. So I need them.
I had them at number 3.
I had them at 4. So I need them to at least make the playoffs and then we can, backtrack after all that stuff. So the last game of the weekend. And the thing is, what's really crazy is I think we're all picking the Vikings, but I do think this will be the closest game of the weekend as well. Like this will be the close game. I think they're better, but I think that the Griffins have an amount like a grit to them.
Yeah, they're gonna fight back for sure. 100%. I don't think that they're gonna be like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna let them come in our house or whatever this game. But I think they're gonna fight back. I mean, they got them Blattes. They got them Blattes Svenskas down there. They got some grit to them.
All they got to do is avoid Will Sowell, and they'll score some points because that defense, they got nothing besides number one. But moving to the last game, Carlstad Crusaders versus Örebro Black Knights. Antoine, who you got and why?
Costa. They're more dominant on both sides of the ball. On the sides of the ball that really is going to make a difference in this game, which is the defensive side of the ball. So Costa.
Juice, what about you?
Yeah, I do think this could be the closest game and probably the best game to watch, unless it's matter of fact, I think all the games this weekend are going to be extremely good to watch. However, simply speaking, I'm gonna just go with Carlstad Crusaders because I think that Carlstad want to finish the season perfect and go into the playoffs with that mindset. And it's a great matchup for them because I do think Örebro is going to be tough. It's a 1 hour drive from each other.
Mm-hmm.
To have their last game with a tough match and not go out with a easy match going into the playoffs.
Okay.
Set up perfect for Carlstad.
Yeah, I'm definitely going Carlstad too. I think they're just a better team in this matchup. I'm not going to talk about it too much. We've already talked about it a lot for them. So that's going to be our picks. I feel like do we have all the same picks?
Yeah, we did. Me. I got Iko winning.
He picked I got.
You had
you just don't believe me.
Yeah, I don't think you really meant to pick them, so I just assumed it was a typo. Someone just accidentally you said it, but you didn't mean it. I don't think any of these are gonna be like blowouts though. I want to do like scores for some of them, but I think they're all gonna be close games.
Yeah. Let's pass on the scores.
Well, no, Tyresö versus Carlstad.
Let's do scores. Let's do scores.
Let's do the score of that one. Let's do the score of that
one.
Yeah,
yeah, just that one. K-Town versus Predators. What you got, Juice?
Ooh.
K-Town versus Tyresö.
I'm gonna say 50 burger, bro. Even with the backup quarterback coming in, I'm going 50 burger.
Yeah.
50 burger. I don't know how much points that Carlstad can put up, but I'm going. If they get the third stream in, while the clock is on running clock, bro, they're not getting more than 2 touchdowns max. If they're lucky, 2 touchdowns. If they're lucky,
I like that. Antoine, what are you thinking?
Listen, it's gonna be 50-0. We haven't seen the team score 50 points this year, and
nobody scored a 50 burger yet.
Nah. But it's gonna be 50-0. Look, the Predators put up 2 points. Luckily, that was a lucky 2 points. He just happened to block a field goal or whatever they were trying to do on that 1 2-point conversion, and then ran it back. So that 2 points, it wasn't like they got a safety or anything. Like they were dominant on a defensive end and they forced them into a bad situation.
They ran back an extra point.
Yeah, they ran back an extra point for those 2 points, and
the other team didn't try to chase them either, right?
Special teams. That was a special teams game, bro.
Yeah. So I think it's 50-0.
All right, let me tell y'all how this is gonna go. Which game is this again? Tyresö. Okay. Because the Tyresö Royal Crowns are listening right now. They will go out and score 70 points against the K-Town Predators. I can't say the K word, so it's always going to be K-Town. But they will score 70 points in this game just to let people know that they're that much better than the Predators. That's how I feel about it.
It's not possible.
I don't care. I believe like if they don't have a quarterback, like what Antoine said earlier, it's a wrap.
Oh yeah, defense touchdowns. Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, because
I mean, to be honest, in Carlstad, we put up 70 points against Tyresö. In my first year,
it's possible.
We played 70 points against them.
But the reason I make this declaration to Tyresö is because you got to want it. It's not possible if you just out there to win. You got to want it, and I want you to want it because we've been saying it this whole episode. It's looking like Carlstad versus Tyresö, right?
That's really
that's what it's looking like. Well, next week you're going to have the Mean Machines, and they're going to give you. It's going to be a game. Like it's not going to be an easy game. So this is just like Carlstad's last game. This is your last chance to really like stat pad. Like this is the last chance to really like put a mark on somebody. And if you're gonna put a mark on somebody, let it be this team. They're a doormat anyways. So why not go out here and say, for this game, we're gonna put up 70 and let everybody know that this is what we're capable of if you don't come and respect us. And I mean, it might put a little fear in the heart of the meme machines to let them know that they're capable of it. And that's what I'm saying. Like, if nobody scored 50 points in the league this year, putting up 70 lets them know that, hey, we're the ones that everyone should be afraid of offensively. Because right now it's Carlstad, right? And going into the playoffs is all going to be talk between these two teams because they already beat you. So they don't feel any fear towards you. But now you put up 70 against a team that, what did Carlstad beat Predators by? A decent amount. I mean, you're not supposed to really compare when it comes to football, but everybody's going to do it anyway.
Yeah, you can't do that.
42-6.
Yeah, it was 42-6. I mean, which means you at least got to score 50. You at least got to score 50, and they might not have a quarterback they had against them. So then I'm just saying, 2 more touchdowns, that should be easy. And
yeah,
I mean, us that know football, we're not going to compare the scores of 2 teams playing against somebody, but all them other fans out there, they're going to be like, well, they beat them by this. Well, they beat them by this, and it was closer to the end of the season. They were closer to the end of the season. This is more realistic of what a team is than earlier in the season. So for you guys, this is the opportunity. Put up 70. And if not for yourself, do it for your boy. Purvis want to see 70. Give me a little something. I still got the Tyresö hoodie. I ain't wearing it because y'all ain't been, putting up points. Put up some points, man. Wear that Tyresö hoodie. Might even catch me in Tyresö sometime for the playoffs. Who knows? It's possible. So I really think 70 would be a good point for them. But that's all our picks for this week. We'll have them online here for you pretty soon. And let's get on up out of here.
Hey there, sports fans. Are you interested in exciting sports of American football, flag football, or field hockey? Well, look no further because Sweet 3, the Swedish association for these sports, has got you covered. Sweet 3 is not just about games. They're about building a community, players of all ages and backgrounds coming together, supporting each other, and having an absolute blast on the field. Sweet 3 is proud to be an advocate for the Swedish sports movement where integrity and sportsmanship reign supreme. So whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, come join Sweet 3 and experience the magic of sports like never before. Visit the Sweet 3 website and get in on the action today. Sweet 3, where passion meets purpose.
All right, that's it for this episode of Pro Football in Sweden. Anything we missed that needs to be discussed? Juice, I'll let you go first with your overtime.
Nah, I don't have much to say. Only thing I would just say, again, as I say every week, your film is your resume. Put good things on film so we can talk about it. Put bad things on film. We're going to talk about it as well, and we're going to expose you. Make sure you guys being swagger-ish on the field. Celebrate. Josh Hicks, man, keep slapping boys in the mouths. Put them down on the ground. Last note of business. Man, Eddie is like the only person who comment on the YouTube. If you guys watching this or if you say something controversial, comment down below. Get us excited.
He said something about the jerseys one time.
Yeah. He let us know why they got the wrong jerseys and things like that. And
washing machine
make sure you guys go over to Ballers International. Subscribe. We got the highlights coming up. During the middle of the week. Make sure you guys support that. And that's all I got. Good luck this weekend.
Antoine, you got anything?
Yeah, man, I ain't got much. I mean, just do everything that Jalo said, man. Go make sure you liking everybody's platforms. Make sure you're supporting all the platforms. Make sure you're resharing the content. And yeah, liking and commenting always helps. Go to the platform, so do that.
All right, for me, I gotta eat a little humble pie, make a retraction. I'd like to make this an official retraction from the beginning of the season. I did say that Slade Jarman is garbage, and it's been a running joke all year. And since I've said that, he has played much better throughout the season. A couple stat padding games, obviously, but I do believe that he's a much better quarterback than what I gave him credit for in those first 2 games. He's come a very long way. This last game, I was actually I was impressed by how he played when he didn't have an easy game. Like him scoring that touchdown on that run play, that 45-yarder, him being more like a leader than anything to this team. There was a lot of times where you would see him check the play and get them into the situation. And for me, we've just seen him progress throughout the season. I know congratulations to the Crusaders for re-signing Jarman.
Yeah, congrats.
Right?
I was going to mention that as well. I forgot. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Congrats on that. So it's really good that he's the guy that they believe in. Again, there's nothing personal against him, but I will not be calling him that name anymore. and also because I still am a believer in what I am. Nickname's not really going anywhere because I like it. So he will now be, instead of being called Garbage, he will be G-Man.
Yeah, he picking up the trash. He picking up the trash.
Picking up the trash. He will be G-Man for me. And if you don't like that, you can suck on a lemon drop. I don't care. That's it for me for overtime. Good luck to all the teams this weekend, and we'll be back next week with more insights and opinions. Please like, follow, and subscribe on all social channels at Pro Football Sweden, and we'll see you guys next week. Adios.
Later.
Peace.